everyone, I'm Sudeepthi Dondapati. Welcome to another session and last session. This is the last session on sentence completion, verbal aptitude sentence completion. Hope you're enjoying this session because we've been practicing extensively on this concept sentence completion, as this is a huge and it is a bit complex and it is a little bit confusing aspect for one to deal with it. So to get ready for the last session and one more round of questions. Once again, I brought it for you, and so that you would have enough exposure to the ideas and the questions asked, so that you can easily accomplish the task that is right there before you. And I hope you have understood the kind of ideas and tips you have to remember when you are solving these questions, sentence completion questions. So what are they? Number one, you have to focus on the context of the question. You have to understand the question. You have to understand the context. So if you have to understand the context, you have to understand the situation. You have to understand the background picture of it, and then definitely you can go ahead with the question that is asked. So when you understand the question, obviously you can pick up. And secondly, number two, first is understand the context of the question. Secondly, pick and choose the appropriate word. So if you have to pick and choose, what you have to do is you have to eliminate irrelevant options. So number two is like removing options, okay, annuling, or it's like eliminating the irrelevant options. So that is number two. Number three, lastly, what you have to do is you have to know the meaning of the words given there. Each word, each and every word. Okay, you have to know the meaning of that particular word, and you have to choose the right answer. So knowing the meaning and trying to solve it. So that is the right option. So 1, 2, 3, understand the context, remove unrelated things. That means like eliminate unrelated things. And the third one is like you have to understand the meanings of the word given, and then you have to choose it. So that those are the three in key and three ingredients, right? With that kind of mindset, let us start today's question. So now question number 40. Awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was truly what? So now apply all the points that we've discussed here in this situation. Awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was truly a misnomer. Misnomer B, preoccupation. C, universality. For talkative, that is like garrulity. So now, what is right? Misnomer, preoccupation, universality, garrulity, and fourth is like benevolence. So benevolence. So now let us think of these options. Awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was truly a what? Like, some kind of like uneasiness, and she feels that it is not very suitable. Now what is this what is her feeling here there? So awkwardly tall and prone to tripping, like when this happened, and over her own feet, she felt that her name was not a suitable thing. So the meaning of the words like misnomer means like misnaming of a person, or wrong or unsuitable name. So when you realize like it is misnomer, like where you are not according to the nature of your name, and you feel your name is misnomer. So wrong, normal, name related. So is a misnaming of a person, a place, a wrong or unsuitable name. So that preoccupation, option B, just replace it with the option B. Awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was truly a preoccupation. So preoccupied, before that you take that, before that you take over, and before that you think that is more, that is already preoccupied. So that is it. So awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was preoccupation. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. So awkwardly tall and prone to tripping over her own feet, Grace felt her name was truly a universality. No, we don't say. We don't feel like it is truly a universality. No, it's all completely, all and on, everywhere it is universal, like prevalent across all. Awkwardly tall and prone, her Grace felt her name was truly benevolence. Benevolence. So it's like charitable and helpful. No, it is not that as such. So it is truly benevolence. No, we don't say, but it is like misnaming of her name was truly. See, her Grace felt her name was truly. Here you have a hint here. Here you have a clue that it is like about her name that she felt. And so now what is it? If you know the word meaning of the word misnomer, then you can think that is the right option, right? Misnomer is a misnaming of a person, of place, or wrong, or unsuitable. So option A is the right answer. Next question. Although the village's although the village's lives were profoundly different from her own, Jing-Mae felt a deep for the people when she served in the Peace Corps. Although the village's lives were profoundly different, their lives were profoundly, entirely different from her own. Jing-Mae she felt a deep what for the people when she served in the Peace Corps. She felt for the people when she served. So reparation for the people when she served in the Peace Corps, or payment for past sins. Affinity, although the villagers' lives were profoundly different from her own, Jing-Mae felt a deep affinity for the people for the people when she served in the Peace Corps, or Jing-Mae felt a deep injunction, like command for the people when she served in the Peace Corps, or although the villages' lives were profoundly different from her own, Jing-Mae felt a deep what analogy for the people when she served in the Peace Corps. Analogy. So that's not, it's not wrong, right? So analogy, like where you bring different things and you find a sameness or a likeness, whether it is a like or not, the same kind of features are reflected or not. So you don't, and you draw a comparison there with the similar thing there. So that is analogy, or you find the similar thing and your life with something else, and where you bring both where you try to compare two different things, and by showing a common analogy. That is the sense of it. So reparation, payment for past sins. Reparation means what? It is like payment, like where you repay your debts, like repay your for your sins, and for investing some kind of pain, like when you keep a lot of effort and do something. Payment for past sins. Also, now what is affinity? Affinity is some kind of bond. You feel relationship. That. Injunction is something you say a word, a command. Okay, injunction. For exigency means like you where you where you think that it is your effort is very much needed, and you have to put in your effort. So that is what like analogy. So that is like reparation, payment for past sins. Affinity, injunction, command. D, exigency, requiring effort. D is analogy. So that is like fourth. And affinity is a natural attraction or liking. Basically, you can take this option. It's something kind of like where you build a bond, right, between. So that is it. So where you build a bond between the people. And so that's what like, although, so now let me give you the option. What is it? Although the village's lives were profoundly different from her own, Jing-Mae felt a deep affinity for the people, deep affinity bond with the people where she served in the Peace Corps. Next question. Sometimes late at night, Sharon would gaze joyfully at her children as they slept and blank in their innocence. What? Sometimes late at night, sometimes late at night, Sharon would see joyfully at her children, would see her children as they slept and in their innocence. So that means she did something more there, not only gazing, but something more is very much seen there. So what's that? Something very which is very different. So one thing is like sneering. What is this? Like kind of like contemptuous, very bitter and sad experience. Ostracize is what you try to exclude a person, you try to send away the person, you try to eliminate the person there from the nearby surround. So that is it. Next is see a revel, where you try to feel happy seeing something, you take pleasure looking at that. So that is the sense of it. Now fourth one is repudiate means what you reject something which you show no more acceptance, and that's why you see it is like you repudiate something, you deny something. And fourthly, antiquate is some no more in use, and it is obsolete. Now, sometimes late at night, Sharon would gaze joyfully at her children as they slept and in their innocence. What's that? Delighted, take pleasure. So, what is the right word? Revel. So, revel is the right word. So, what will happen if you give the right word? It will show it will show its full meaning there in the sentence. So, that is the sense of it. So, you can take this option as the right answer. Next one. What is the option? Deceive. So what is the meaning? When she looks at them at night, she takes pleasure, when in their innocence, in their purity. So that is the sense created here in the sentence. 43. In the famous balcony scene, Romeo blank Juliet's beauty in one of the most romantic soliloquies ever written. In the famous balcony scene, Romeo blank Juliet's beauty in one of the most romantic soliloquies ever written. So options again: sanctions, B, extols, C, peruses, 4, beguile, 5, fetters. So in the famous balcony scene, so here we are talking about this Romeo and Juliet, story, where in that particular scene, balcony scene, you can see Juliet's beauty in, Romeo, what he sees and do. I mean, he glares at it and he does something very interesting. Like, so Romeo glorifies, or he praises something. Juliet's beauty in one of the most romantic soliloquies where he himself, comes up, with a speech that's ever written, he praises, and that is one of the most romantic soliloquy that's been ever written here. So options given: A, sanctions, B, extols, C, peruses, D, beguiles, E, fit. So sanctions means what? You allow someone to take up something. Sanction something. You're giving them, allowing them, permitting them. So that is extolling someone. Extol means what? You praise someone. Okay, you appreciate someone. So that's it. Peruses. So when you peruses means what? It is like you try to take into account. You try to see them. Peruse, consider them, examine. So that's it. Next, beguile. Beguile means what? To deceive, like to to manipulate. So someone to be unfaithful. There. That is it. So that's it, beguiles to ease. Next to fetters. Fetters means what? Those iron fetters where you cops, take you and they keep it in chains. Fetters means chains. So where you iron chains. So that's it. So now, what is the best answer? So he extols. So if of all the options given, you say he praises. So extolling someone. So that is the sense. So you can take this as the ultimate answer. It was blank to think that it could possibly show in the middle of the desert, right? It could possibly show. It was to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. A, advantages. B, philosophical. C, eroding. D, preventative. D, preposterous. It was to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the water desert. What is it like? It was advantageous to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. It was philosophical to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. See, it was eroding to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. 4. It was preposterous, okay, or preventative to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. What is the answer? Like, you have to take one option. Advantages. Advantages, is it like more to an advantage to her advantage? It was to think that possible snow means it's not advantage. Thinking that it could possibly snow where there is no rainfall, where there is no vegetation. That is not about any advantage. It is philosophical to think that it could possibly snow in the middle. It's not any philosophy. There is no philosophy involved. Next, it was eroding to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. Eroding, where it is everything is corroded, the corrosion is seen, where it is completely worn out. No, that is not about any erosion. 4. Preventative. It's not nothing related to any prevention there. Next, fourth one. It was to think that it could possibly snow in the middle of the desert. Thing is like preposterous. Preposterous means what? Yes, means contrary to common sense or utterly. Okay, something which is very absurd. It was absurd to think. Right, so it was absurd. Perhaps it was not very pleasing to your senses, and it is completely absurd to think what that it would rain and snow in any desert where there is no water, no drop of water available there. That is completely an unusual thing. So obviously it is absurd. So you can go with the option preposterous as a right answer. Next. Every evening at the restaurant, the reporter would eavesdrop on the mayor's conversations in order to watch any information that could make headlines. Every evening at the restaurant, the reporter would eavesdrop, like listen secretly on the mayor's conversation in order to every evening what at and where restaurant at the restaurant the reporter would listen secretly in order to dash any information that could make headlines, right? Ignore in order to ignore any information, no gleaning someone, no gleaning on someone, no not doing it, extolling, praising, extending to any information that could make headlines. Now it is narrating. You narrate something. What is the meaning? Ignoring, right? You ignore, you don't regard. Be gleaning. This is what learn to. When you collect something, you glean it, take it, everything slowly. You unravel it. You try to disclose. You try to learn that it is like that. So every evening at the restaurant, the reporter would eavesdrop on the mayor's conversation in order to dash any information that could make headlines. Okay, that is the sense of it. That could make it's like it's a glean, like where you collect slowly, right? Where you collect everything completely and slowly. So that is a sense of it. So you can go with the option B. Next, 46. The surgeon placed a dash on the femoral artery to bind it during the long and exhausting surgery. The surgeon placed a blank there, you have to fill in, on the femoral artery to bind it during the long and exhausting surgery. What did he place? A. Ligature. B. Doctrine. C. Premise. D. Degeneration. So on female, what did surgeon place? Where did he? He placed what on the female artery. What is like thigh, near thigh, femoral like thigh related area, to bind what to sutures, like he to bind it during the long and exhausting during that surgery. To bind it, he used what is something that is what it is like ligature. Ligature means something that ties or binds up, like kind of like bandage, you can assume, for example. So you can use now you replace that word and try. The surgeon placed ligature on the femoral artery to bind it during the long and exhausting surgery. So that is it. That is the sense of it. Next. So the right answer is what? Ligature only. A. By sheer force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. By sheer force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. So, by sheer force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. Okay, okay, that is something virile is something energetic, like so much of virile. Next, pernsnickety. Pernsnickety or pernickety, or it is like something which is very ridiculous, insignificant. By sheer meticulous force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. Meticulously, they pushed it, they applied force. Not about careful. Meticulous or meticulousness is about careful planning. It's not that. By sheer suave or charming force, by suave or charming force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road. By sheer what? Charming force. Or no, you don't say by charming, by sheer charming force. E. Contentious. By sheer contentious force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. So by sheer force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road. Controversy, or by sheer what? Contentious, the men pushed. By sheer contentious force, the men pushed the truck to the side of the road and out of danger. So what is it? Like virile is some, now see, virile means like energetic, full of strength. Fussy, pennexity is all related to kind of insignificant, meticulous, careful planning. Suave is some beautiful thing, charming. Contentious, something which is very, highly debateful and controversial. So now you see, by energy and strength, men pushed. So obviously option A is the right answer. Viral. Based on his recent poor decisions, it is obvious that Seth lacked even of good sense. Based on his recent poor discussions, it was obvious that Seth lacked even what? Good sense. Debasement. B. Diversion. C. Disapprobation. D. Modicum. D. Submission. E. Modicum. So what? Let us understand the question. Don't get worried in case you do not know try to understand the question. If not the answers, then you will. If not, if you don't understand the question, try to understand the option and then try to understand the question. Then firstly, you understand the option. Secondly, you can try to relate it and you can choose the right answer. Based on his recent poor decisions, it was obvious that Seth lacked even what? Debasement of good sense. Debasement. Is it related to any kind of debased nature where you fall drastically to the ground and kind of debased thing? No, completely down, fall of it. Diversion based on his recent poor decisions. It was obvious that Seth lacked even diversion of good sense, diversion of something there. No, it's not diversion of it. It's not about it. It's disapprobation. Disapprobation is you don't accept it and you start criticizing it. So that is like you condemned. You say that it's not good. So based on his recent poor decision, it was obvious that Seth lacked even condemnation of good sense. Next, fourth, based on his recent poor decisions, it was obvious that Seth lacked even what? Submission of good sense. Submission of good sense. You submit something and you do it. Submission of it, no. Seth lacked, based on his recent poor decisions, that it was obvious that Seth lacked even modicum of good sense. What is it like? He lacked just a kind of like measuring word you are trying to select here. Like he even lacked, he said lacked even what? A small or token amount is a small or token amount. That is a sense like small portion of it or a small token amount. That is a sense. Based on his recent poor decisions, it was obvious that Seth lacked even a small token of modicum. That is the meaning of it. Modicum, even modicum of good sense. That is the sense of it. You can take the answer. You can take this option as the right answer. Next, 49. To settle the dispute, the students elected a faculty member to serve as. To settle the dispute, the students elected a faculty member to serve as an what? Maverick, dystopia, arbiter, fiduciary, or martyr. Now, to settle the dispute, someone has to do something. The students what? Elected a faculty member. That's fine. To serve as a what? To settle someone like one maverick. Maverick means like where you find that kind of freedom, independent privilege to do enjoy it. So it's not maverick. To settle the dispute, students elected a faculty member to serve a maverick. No, it is nothing related to it. Dystopia. What is this dystopia? Where you imagine something which doesn't obstruct. Dysfunctional society is not really existing. So it's not like to settle the dispute. The students elected a faculty member to serve as an dystopia. No, that is a different concept. It's as something. To settle the dispute, the students elected a faculty member to serve as a arbiter. Arbiter. What is this arbiter? Now understand. Somebody who is appointed to judge. Somebody who is appointed to judge or decide a disputed issue. Somebody who is appointed or selected to decide a disputed issue as an arbitrator. Somebody who decides and somebody who has the capacity or the ability to settle the issue. So that is a sense of it. Next, to settle the dispute, the students elected a faculty member to serve as a fiduciary, like someone where somebody who can really be relied upon, and somebody who can settle it, and somebody who acts as a trustee there in that particular body. That's it. Like to settle the dispute, the students elected a faculty member to serve as a martyr. Somebody who sacrifices so much. Somebody who does that. So as a martyr. So that's it. Now, what do you think is the right answer? Somebody settle that. Somebody who has a capacity. Then obviously C, arbitrator can also be used. So that's the answer. Option C is the right answer. Next, the blank next here dash. The newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. The newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. One, lurid, the what? The newspaper, lurid newspaper accounts of the city, shocking. Like the lurid, shocking newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question what? The truth of the story. Or the vivacious newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. Now, to blithesome newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. Next, the prolific newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. Or the amicable newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused some readers to question the truth of the stories. So what is it like? Is it like shocking newspaper accounts of the city, or vivacious? Lurid means some kind of like fearful and kind of shivering, shocking thing. Okay, so the shocking newspaper accounts of the city scandal caused. So it's about it. Vivaciousness is some kind of energetic and lively thing. Blithesome means what? Some very carefree thing. That's what the option. Amicable means very friendly and very nice. Building up a bond. So that is a sense of it. Right. Next, the question. So what is so right? Lurid and shocking. Of it, newspaper accounts, the city caused some readers to question the truth. That is the right answer. Next, the man with amnesia was unable to recognize where he was. The man with amnesia was unable to recognize where he was. So endogenous, euphoric, or nonplussed, or amicable, or five, pliable. Now let us look into each and every option when you discuss it. What is the right thing? The man endogenous produced, like endogenous meaning very very natural and very originating man, where he is like originated in the sense like he starts is very 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 much there. With amnesia was unable to recognize, now not able to be because of the memory loss, is unable to produce. So obviously endogenous is not right. Euphoric means euphoria, like extremely happy, right? That mood, energetic mood, euphoria. Or nonplussed, what is this? Nonplussed means like it is kind of like confusion and kind of like where you are very much shocked, right? That is like fourth, amicable, like again friendly. Pliable is like soft thing, like where you can find it well smooth finish. So now the man with amnesia was unable to recognize where he was, endogenous or produced, originating, or euphoric, kind of extreme happiness, or nonplussed, amicable, pliable, soft. Option C, nonplussed, means like where a man with filled with bewilderment. Bewilderment means what? Confusion, tensed, kind of that negative aspect. Okay, so that is it. Blessed, filled with bewilderment, and was unable to recognize where he was. So that is a sense of it. That's the right answer. 52. Justine's solution to the problem revealed that he did not spend much time considering the consequences. Justine's solution to the problem revealed that he did not spend much time considering the consequences. What Justine's solution? What kind of? Facile, obsolete, resilient, pristine, ardent. What? Facile means what is it? Okay, it means like you achieved with little difficulty and very superficially, with kind of effortless attempt. Okay, and fluently and adroit, where it means like achieved with little difficulty or effort. That is it. So Justin's facile solution to the problem. All right, and what is this like? Reveal that he did not spend, like he appears to, have worked hard, but very little effort is invested there. So that's it. B, obsolete. Justin's obsolete solution to the problem. Obsolete, like outdated and no more existing solution. No, then it's nothing related to his updated or the time period of his work efficiency, but only one thing is needed and relevant, that is like his solution to the problem. What kind of facile solution? A resilient solution. Resilient is some kind of like a recovering thing. No, pristine means pure, perfect, and ardent, passionate, fervent. So in all these meanings, you can take facile solution to the problem revealed that he did not spend much time considering the consequences. A is the right answer. Next question. The events of the evening, without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host. The events of the evening, without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host. So what is that? The events of the evening expired without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host, or the events of the evening without difficulty transpired, um, uh, without difficulty, transferred on planning on the part of the host. No, the events of the evening retired without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host, or the events of the evening ensured without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host, or the events of the evening extorted without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host. So what is it? Like expiry, outdated. Transpired means again, that happens to you, okay, occurring. And events of the evening retired completely, away of that. And or like extorted means like you says it, you do not let it go anymore peacefully. So the events of the evening, what transpired, like transpired means occurred without difficulties, despite. The events of the evening happened, so that is the sense here, happened without difficulty, despite the lack of planning on the part of the host. That is a sense. Fourth, it is every American person's what? To live the life he or she chooses. It's every American person's composite to live the life he or she chooses. It is every American person's eloquence to live the life he or she chooses. Or it is every American person's prerogative to live the life he or she chooses. It is every American person's what? Illusion to live the life he or she chooses. Or it is every American person's demise to live the life he or she chooses. Composite, where it is it is not offered something togetherness, right? It is completely togetherness there at the same place. Or it is not a desire. It's every American person's eloquence, means to his speech to live the life. No, it is not their speech. It must be their aspirations, must be their thinking. Okay, so you can eliminate these two. Third one, prerogative. Prerogative means what? A special right, privilege there. So yes, it is every American person's what? Privilege to live the life he chooses to live. Fourth one is illusion. It's not. Illusion means is a kind of indirect reference. T is demise of it, like no more existing. So option C, prerogative, is the right answer. After the boisterous customers left the cafe without tipping, careless at them through the restaurant's front window. And the boisterous kind of mischievous act, customers left the cafe without tipping, giving them money. Callous at them through the restaurant's front window. Interjected means what? Interfere. Jostled and pushed aside. Three is glowered. Glowered means to look intently, like, with the sullen face, not liking, kind of like hurtful behavior, look intently, purposefully at the person. Fourth one is emulated. Emulated means you imitate, you copy someone. Like another option is skulked. Skulked means moving away, coming back. So what is the right option? Glowered means to look angrily at the person. So after the boisterous customers, he looked at them, like glowered at them through the restaurant's front door. Option that is the right answer, C. Next question. People often refer to Noella as because she trusted everyone and she slept with her doors unlocked. So people often refer to Noella as what? Naive means somebody who lacks kind of enough like advanced knowledge or kind of updated knowledge. Naive means elevated. People often refer to Noella as like someone as what elevated means, like reaching heights. Boastful, pompous nature, unnecessary praising nature. Panoramic, wide view. But what is elated? What is an right meaning? Naive means what? Lacking worldly experience. That is the sense of it. So option A is the right answer. Next question. Kennel's re-election is being threatened by a growing what of disgruntled union members. So what do you think? Rogue of re-election is being threatened by a growing rogue. Rogue is a person, you can treat a person as a rogue. Faction, yes, re-election, growing faction kind of rivalry between, or pariah means an outcast, somebody who is not taken into consideration. Anathema is a curse kind of thing. So obviously faction, disgruntled union members, option B is the right answer. Next, the peasants passed their weary days in much what? Pertains, renown, travel, exile, repose. Obviously, peasants passed their weary days in much what? Hardship and little comfort. So obviously, pertinence, relevance is not the answer. Renowned, known, well known is not the exile, excommunication. Repose is kind of like reposed strength, in peace. That is like peacefulness. Obviously, hardship, option C is the right answer. Leza is a dash of the clarinet. She has performed solos with many orchestra and bands around the world. Neophyte, Leza is a neophyte, or neophyte means somebody who is new to it. Novice, new person. Virtuoso is also kind of like technique of some particular fine art, a kind of master, person, means master in the technique of some particular thing. And then termagant means like quarrelsome, fighting person. Plethora means abundance. So Leaza is a dash of the clarinet. What? Obviously virtuoso of the clarinet. So you can go with the option C. Next question. The children knew that once their father made his decision, the new rule would be what? Because he would never change. Irrevocable, articulate, premeditated, serried, and discourteous. Irrevocable, cannot reverse it. So that is a sense. Obviously, articulation, speaking is not premeditated, is arranged, is not the answer. Serried means thronged, overcrowded, and discourteous obviously is not courteous, not polite. So option A is the right answer. The last question for this session is this. The haunted house displayed scenes in every room, causing squeamish visitors to scream. The haunted house displayed, very, scenes in every room, kind of like, the threatening and fearful. Squeamish visitor. Preparatory scenes or archaic means preparatory, something which are well prepared. Archaic, not even existing. Macabre means horrible, gruesome. For precocious means very highly intelligent, unusually intelligent. For impetuous means arbitrary, momentary, in that particular situation, impulsive decisions. Okay, obviously macabre means gruesome pictures. So obviously this is very very dark and fearful atmosphere. There you can understand. Obviously macabre scenes means like fearful scenes. So these are a few questions on sentence completion. Now we have closed this aspect with this session, and I hope you have understood the point. What all you have to concentrate is understanding the words given. So if you know the vocabulary given, obviously you can bridge the sentence. It's very easy. Learn vocabulary and try to do sentence completion questions confidently. Thank you. Stay in tune.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.